Good morning and welcome to Inside the Hive for Friday, May the 29th. And it's my pleasure this morning to welcome Andrew Costa from BNI Executive Network in Burlington. Andrew is joining us this morning to share his insights into what his experience has been like within the BNI family. I'm going to quickly just go over, just highlight a little bit, a few of the things that Andrew put up in his bio. Um, I just love this. Andrew, the first line was business wizard for health professionals.
You
Business
betcha.
wizard? I love it. How did you get to that?
Well, I've always been a nerd at heart, and I'm a big believer that business and personal is not something that is separate. I think as business people, we all try to pretend that we are completely separate individuals, but it's all about embracing the personal part as well as operating inside of business. So if I'm going to help people grow their businesses and really make magic, then why can't I bring some of my nerdy, Dungeons and Dragons painting models life into the way that I operate day to day? So Business Wizard is what stood out to me, and it's something that I really lean into.
I love it, Andrew. And that's tip number one for all of us. Get super specific and if you can bring personal into it. I'll highlight a couple of things from Andrew's bio because they just spoke to me. Business coach, speaker, host of Coached to Coach, a YouTube channel. If you haven't had the opportunity yet, please look up Andrew on YouTube. I love in the second paragraph, Andrew, what struck out to me was you're talking about helping to attract clients, attract premium clients and move beyond the ceiling of one-to-one work so they can create something of value within their businesses. I just love the way you've put that together. If you haven't seen Andrew's TEDx speech yet, please go and find him. When life moves faster than you can feel. And it is just such an insightful presentation, Andrew. So please, if you haven't had a chance, go see that. Men's mental health, we don't talk about that enough in the world, and certainly emotional awareness, the cost of living disconnected from what life, what really truly matters in life. I love that. Andrew, when do you find the time to do beyond that, playing with your family and playing Dungeons and Dragons at a level 5 wizard level?
That is
This
correct.
gentleman, yeah, this gentleman is just someone that I think we really need to embrace this morning, Andrew. Let me just give one quick one. What struck out to me, Andrew, when I met you at the last time I visited your chapter, was that presentation you gave about that giver. And the situation was such a powerful one that it just really spoke to me that morning. And I'm thankful that you did that because here we are. So we will get started. I've got a few questions for you, and then we'll, maybe riff off them a little bit. But the very first
Absolutely.
one, Andrew, is what was the turning point when you realized that BNI could be a major driver of your business?
Well, BNI has actually been a fundamental part of multiple of my businesses. So I've had many businesses, successfully exited my practice a couple of years ago, returned to then have BNI be a part of my business coaching business. For me, BNI has been a large part of building relationships, whether it was me being a practitioner or me now being a business coach. I recognize that you operating your business alone, it takes a significant amount of time to be able to build something by yourself. And it is a lot easier. The saying is, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And so this is where the business relationships on who you can refer your clients to other people, as well as just being able to like continue to like develop your own network and your own client base. BNI hands down has been very instrumental for that. So it helped me with my health business. We served 4,400 clients over 8 years. And I can say 65% of that business was through referrals of BNI and referrals from those initial referrals. So it has been very instrumental in me building my business.
Andrew, thank you for that. Can you share a specific referral that led to a significant business opportunity? And then what made that referral possible?
Oh, um, so there's actually two that come to mind. One of them was so when I was a practitioner, I had the opportunity to, and it was actually not a referral for a client, it was a referral for a naturopath. She was looking at being able to do a health summit, and someone made the connection. That summit had, I think, 300 people in attendance. I got 65 clients from that health summit. And then, of course, the referrals, partners, husbands, things coming off of that was really big. But um, that was not just a referral to gain business. It was a referral that actually permanently cemented a relationship between me and that naturopath, where 3 years, probably 4 years after that, we were referring clients back and forth. Where if someone had a hormone issue, it went to her. If they were looking to exercise, health, and fitness, it went to me. And I think that would have never have happened if there wasn't already an existing personal relationship with someone inside of BNI. And I think that is the best part about BNI is when you have that personal relationship and you're getting a connection with someone, the person already trusts you because they trust the person who referred. And I think that's so huge because especially in business now, it takes a long time to build a good quality relationship. But what a lot of people don't recognize and actually take for granted is you can significantly short that time and you can leverage someone else's trust. Now, of course, that person referring has to really trust you. But if you take that time, that referral is instantaneous. Those are the best clients because they often share the same values with the person who referred. And so it's just a win-win all around.
Andrew, you mentioned one. Did you have a second that you wanted to share with us?
Yeah. So, and a very
Please.
big coincidence. So Tim Hauser's on the call, and he connected me with this business with a gentleman who is doing a proposal for ACU Canada, which has 660 practitioners. So again, being able to do master classes and seminars for potentially 600 clients as opposed to individual referrals at a time. Those are some of the best referrals. And I think whenever we're operating inside of BNI, many people are always asking for the one off referral. I'm just
Hmm.
looking for the next connection, the next form of business, versus who can I partner inside of my business atmosphere to provide me multiple referrals. And that connection via Tim was great because it is a governing body of acupuncturists and of registered massage therapists. So with that, it's multiple people, it's not just one. So it's almost the referral that keeps referring. And of course, there's more work to be done on that side, but it is a fantastic connection.
I love the way you brought Tim into the picture this morning because he certainly has been one of the individuals within this region that really lives to that giver's gain, the real giver's gain concept. There's a little nugget inside of what you said though that I just want to touch on before we jump to the next question, and it's one that I've been sharing in chapter meetings when I've gone to visit, and it is when I'm giving you a referral, I'm trusting you with my client, a relationship I built with someone. And I'm trusting that someone else is going to take care of them. And that to me is the real key to building the trusting relationship. You have to respond and respect and be accountable to my customer as well. So I really like that part of where you've gone with regards to building something. So each week you get to stand up in a chapter meeting and talk to your fellow members. How do you consistently educate them so they can refer to you effectively?
Well, there's two ways. And actually, I'm gonna let you all in on a secret. There are some key positions inside of BNI which really help build trust a lot faster. And they're the positions that people don't typically think of. So when it comes to spreading value, your infomercial is of course very important and you have to be specific. And we could spend a whole day talking about infomercials. BNI does a very good job in that. The other way that I go and I spread value is actually through sharing core values. So the couple positions which are really crucial to building relationships and actually building your network, core values, doing the education moment, being a mentor, and being a visitor host or a visitor coordinator. Those are some of the, I would say, most influential, but also possess the greatest opportunities for people to get educated on who you are as a person. Because in reality, when we look towards the referral, 45 seconds is not really a lot of time. There's a limit to what we can do to actually make a connection with somebody. But Every week, I have the opportunity, and you saw Chris, to stand up and do 3 minutes of core values. And inside of that, I am creating and curating a specific message where not only am I educating people on core values, but I'm actually educating them on how I operate inside of my business. Because we all know how you do one thing is how you do everything. So when I show up prepared, when I show up with a message, when I'm actually laying a foundation of here's how I operate, people are slowly building trust with me. And they're recognizing if he is this intentional with core values and he's this intentional when he takes on mentor roles and when he's booking one to ones, I know he's going to be this intentional with my clientele. And that just amplifies that 45-second infomercial that I do every week.
And Andrew, I've got to tell you, I had to follow you after that in your educate the core values,
Hmm.
and that certainly spoke to me. And maybe at the end of this, if we have time, I'll get you to share that story if you're still okay with it, because it's
Hmm.
just such a powerful example of giver's gain in an environment, an example, and that is just so personal. I think you've touched on some of this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. But do you have any weekly or daily, monthly habits that help you stay visible within the chapter above and beyond what you've just shared? Anything else?
So, staying visible in the chapter is largely about working with your power team, and it's also about doing the regular one-to-ones. When we look towards the 111, which is BNI's, make sure that you're doing one one-to-one a week, that you're doing one visitor, that you're making the connection. That is actually just the bare minimum. If you look towards especially a large chapter like ours, where we have close to 40 people, if you were to do just one-to-one, it would probably take you an entire year to build a relationship with somebody, or even just to get to know all of those people. I make it a daily habit to actually carve out 8 hours of my week solely for networking and for BNI. So when I'm not doing one-to-ones, how can I be working with my power team to put together other opportunities where we can grow? So, can I partner with other professionals to do master classes, to do
Mm,
webinars? Can I educate myself on what are the types of referrals that they're looking for? Can I actively search for these referrals? I mean, how many people can you actually say are spending, even if it's 30 or 40 minutes a week, actively looking for ways and opportunities to make connections and to refer? And when you do that, you are able to show up more every week with a referral, but at the same time, you're able to get a better qualified referral to someone, and that helps amplify your trust.
Andrew, you've left us with so many tips in there. I think by themselves, I should just isolate that and pull it out. A key one for me, because I get to talk about this a lot, as you know, when I travel through the region, is it's a BNI system. It's not just a networking event once a week for 90 minutes. And when you embrace it as a system, that's when the real value starts to come out of it, right? Because you're using it in your week, not just your day. I love what you said. Um, New members. You've got a new member coming into your chapter. How do you approach building trust with new members in your chapter?
I think it's really looking to understand why they joined and then what's going to be the thing that takes them to the next level. Oftentimes, when we're looking, of course, we look to build trust. We want to make sure someone's reputable. Trust, whether it's built over a 6 month or 12-month time, will be built. And you're going to be able to understand if people and the membership committee and even the team have vetted these people to the point where they're in the room for a reason. It's because you can trust them. I am the type of person that gives trust up front because I know that that trust takes time and I can shorten that time if I give it freely. The way that I really start to build trust with that new member is actually figuring out what is that thing that's actually preventing them. And maybe that's the business coach in me, but what is that block that's preventing you from going to the next stage? Because it's not just the next referral. Is it you're going to then be in a place to hire? Are you looking for a specific connection or a specific business relationship? If I can do that and I can help catapult you to the next level, I know that law of energetic exchange, if I do that with everyone, energy will return to me in some way. So, in doing that, that also brings a lot of joy for me. So, it helps me become detached from the outcome. And when a visitor, a new member, even a guest from someone else, like another chapter that comes, sees that you are just showing up and you're unconditionally giving, people want to reciprocate that. That's why one of the core values is givers gain. We don't just put it in there because we're like, well, you're forced to give. Naturally, when we receive something from someone unconditionally, we want to do that for others.
Hmm, love it. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, ask you to think about a mistake, maybe just one, that you made early on in your BNI experience, and what did you learn from it?
So, the very first time I joined a chapter, this was going to be 8 years ago now. I had my in home training company, and I went in thinking all I need from this is business. The mindset right out the gate was the mistake in itself. But then I made a few other mistakes. When I went there, I only was operating in the chapter, doing things if I thought it was going to benefit, build a relationship because I think I can get something from it. Show up every week and make a connection because I believe that there's an outcome that is in it for me. And yeah, it was 100% selfish. And also at the same time, like I said, the mindset was the biggest issue. I came in looking to be an entitled taker. And I've had a lot of mentors that really helped me work through that, understanding that entitle taking may give you some upfront results, but this is where you'll always see the people who are long term in the chapter. Entitle taking only works for so long. And then once you've kind of tapped the resources in the room, there's nothing left for you. And so, if you want to maximize your relationships with people and build beyond just the room itself, this is where you have to become a having helper. And so, I recognized after the first year, what I'm really doing wrong is I'm showing up with the mindset that it has to benefit me first. And I actually share this in core values literally last week. Tim can say here the difference between being selfish being versus being selfless. So a lot of the times we say it's for other people, but it's sort of for yourself, hence the ish. You're showing up and you're doing these things, and it is kind of conditional. And now I operate from a space of being selfless. So I look towards all of the core values and I say, how can I build a relationship in a way that lights me up? How can I give in a way that it's a win 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 for everyone? Win for the chapter, win for the person giving, a win for me because my client sees that I'm a superstar. And when I do that, I become selfless. I actually require less for me, the self. So I no longer am attached to the outcome and the expectation of what is there. That I think would be I would say the biggest mistake. And all it took was the first 6 months for me to completely change my attitude. So 6 months seems like a long time, but after the 6 months, I sat down, I had zero results, and I said to myself, why? And when I looked, I said, well, I'm not supporting other people. I'm only asking for myself. I'm showing up and I'm sitting in the seat, but I'm not actually in the room. And that's when I said to myself, something has to change, especially because I was still coaching. If I'm going to show up as a coach, I have to show up and I have to want to be here. And then, of course, that's when everything changed for me.
Okay, so final question. I have a couple after this, mind you, but this final formal question. If you had to start over again in a brand new chapter, what would you do in your first 90 days to set yourself up for success?
Well, education coordinator or core values is my automatic staple, or speak to the membership committee to find out how you can actually be doing more in the chapter. At the very least, join a mentorship role because you get to talk to a lot of people and figure out what they need to build their business. That builds trust very quickly. The next thing that I would do is I would really establish via one-to-ones. I try to sit down with the entire chapter within the first 2 or 3 weeks. And that seems like a lot, but if you think about it, every single person there is your marketing arm. And all I want to know is about them. Who are their connections? Who are the people that they have access to? What do their typical clientele look like 37 to 57 female that is looking between X and X, whatever that is. I need to understand the people that are around them before I can go and start crafting my things like my 45-second infomercial.
Mm,
And this is where the people who do that work, you will see when they ask for something in their infomercial, you go, oh, that's Sandra across the street. It's so specific, they know, and someone pops up in their mind. The people who don't understand the connections in the room or who don't understand the access of what you have, they're the ones who say, I'm looking for anyone and everyone.
Mhm.
And obviously, if you look for everyone, no one pictures really who the heck that is. So they just quickly forget about it. So I would set myself up that way.
I love it, Andrew. I especially like when you talk about being super specific. I just like that as a second tip this morning that probably jumps out at me. I do have one other question for you, and that is education coordinator. You have all the core values. Is there one that you would lean on? Is there one that you just kind of go towards every time?
Well, there's two. When I look towards the core values, building relationships and lifelong learning are always something that um, of the two, let's pick building relationships. Your network is your net worth. That is very logical. But from an emotional and an energetic side, energy is never destroyed, it is only shifted. And when we look towards money, money is a form of energy, impact is a form of energy, connection is a form of energy. That means you have to build relationships with people. Like even the word money in itself comes from a word that's called moneta, which means to transfer trust. So I go to building relationships a lot in core value. And I talk about building relationships because if you take the time and you're intentional with how you're showing up and you build a quality relationship, all you need are 4 or 5 solid connections to fundamentally change the way your business looks. You don't need 500 referrals. You don't need 65 connections. You need 4 people who every room that they're in are saying to themselves, oh man, I got to put you in touch with Andrew. Hands down, just one conversation doesn't even have to be business. You're going to get something of huge value from it. And I recognize the more we invest in our relationships, the more return we are actually going to get from life because then business becomes fun. So, on the months in the room where, let's say, I don't get referrals, I'm still there with people that I absolutely love, with friendships that I've built, and I'm having a blast. And so the room becomes so much more than just money, business, energy. It's all about relationships, values, friendships. So I get so much more from it.
Thank you, Andrew. You've shared so much this morning that is powerful in terms of not just the mechanics of being in a BNI chapter, but going beyond that. We do have a couple of minutes and some folks on the Zoom this morning. I'm going to just open it up really quickly and ask if anybody has any questions for Andrew this morning. He's been so generous with his time. I do appreciate that. So if you have a question for him, just open your mic and please ask away.
I have a question. So Andrew, you do as education coordinator, you also do the core value every week?
So I just have the core values. There is we have someone else that does the education coordinator, but
Okay.
there have been times where I step in and I encourage people, like just because you have one role, you don't need to just stick with the role. You can always ask education, can I do education this
Yeah.
week? You can always ask mentor, can I hop in? But I try to do as much as I can because I mean, it really does put you in the room longer and people get to build trust sooner with you.
Well, and that's a good idea because we rotate our core value every week. So whoever does, like our secretary treasurer schedules core value and closing quote. So one person each week will be assigned core value and closing quote. But maybe for new members who don't have a role yet, it's not a bad idea just to have like two new members switching between core value every week or something. I like that
Mm.
idea.
Mhm.
Thank you for that question, Denise. Anybody else want to pepper Andrew with a question? That's okay too, Andrew. You've been super generous this morning, and the insights you've shared have been absolutely um, mind-blowing to me in terms of taking it beyond just, again, the mechanics of an agenda, the mechanics of a meeting. So I do thank you for that this morning. This morning we've had Andrew Costa from BNI Executive Network on Inside the Hive, and our next Inside the Hive will be Friday, June the 26th. So thank you all, and Have a great day, everybody.
Nice. Thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it, Chris.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
great
Thank
job,
you.
Andrew.
Thanks, Tim.
Great job.
Have
Thank you.
Have you heard anything more from Thomas at all?